I gotta say this again. I've been saying it for the past 2 episode reviews, but I gotta say it again. This series is just so damn similar to Gintama. Like, there's just so many similarities. This episode, so similar. Like, oh my god. Like, holy crap. Like, this episode, you know, let me explain why I have to say this once again with this episode. The cock teasing of finding out more about Koro-sensei's past has been ongoing since the series began. I know this series is like 100-something chapters, and I'm willing to bet the true past hasn't been revealed yet to Koro-sensei. And it really reminds me of Gintama, because Gintoki, as a main male character, his past is cock teased for the majority of the series, and I've yet to see his past, like his 100% past. And to see this, I'm like, Koro-sensei has so many similarities somewhat to Gintama and Gintoki from Gintama. It's mind-blowing. So, this episode, once again, more build-up for that reveal of Koro-sensei. And there's just so many things going on here that, like I've been saying for multiple weeks now, is that I highly doubt Koro-sensei is the person that destroyed the moon. Or he destroyed the moon, but he's not going to be the person that kills the Earth in like 1 year's time. I highly doubt that. Because once again, more evidence. Or it could be a vendetta where he wants to get revenge. That's another reason why I could see Koro-sensei wanting to do something like that. Because this episode, we get to see Koro-sensei angry once again. And this is the second time out of the entirety of this series we have seen Koro-sensei this pissed. Like, he was so pissed when he saw those tentacles out of that kid's head. And, like, where'd you get those? And all that. He's like, where did you get those? You know, where'd you get them from? And stuff like that. He's asking those questions. And you just saw his entire demeanor and atmosphere around Koro-sensei just changed. It snapped. Because Koro-sensei is a character that's built upon comedy. I mean, he's a happy-go-lucky character. And he kind of reminds me of Gintoki in certain ways because of the way he's just an airhead. And all of a sudden, you just see this atmosphere snap soon as something serious happens, and he goes straight up serious. He was mad, like really mad, and he wanted to know these answers. And so there's something definitely going on here, because why would Koro-sensei get that pissed? Like, he started having a flashback. And in this flashback, we see that one scene we saw in the first episode. You see this girl that died in Koro-sensei's arms. And I'm assuming, as we all think, it's his lover. It's his past lover. It's been hinted at. But is it trying to imply, is this scene that we saw in this episode trying to imply that that girl that died in his arms might have had tentacles too? Like, you know, similar tentacles to Koro-sensei. And what if they did experiments on her body and then put those tentacles onto the kid? That's a possibility. Maybe that's why Koro-sensei was so angry, because maybe the tentacles were identical to her. Because we don't know next to nothing about Koro-sensei and that girl, whoever it is. We don't even know the face, like the face structure, anything. So all we know is that the type of tentacles from the hair from the kid could be from that girl that died in Koro-sensei's arms. And, I mean, if your lover's body was, like, desecrated, wouldn't you kind of be pissed? So it kind of, it links. It definitely links as something like that's happening. God, I love Assassination Classroom. I am really in love with this series. Like, if it wasn't for Gintama, I probably would not notice why this series is so damn good. Like, I would notice the themes, but I wouldn't notice what really is going on with this series. Like, all this different build-up. And it just, yeah, I'm so glad I got to see this anime, because I'm going to read the manga. Like, I have no doubt about that. I'm reading the fucking manga. It's really hard to resist not reading ahead of this anime, because it is so good. It is really freaking good. It is so good. And it's hard to resist my urge to find out more answers of what is going on. I'm half tempted, after I catch up with Gintama, and I'm reading, you know, Katsuki no Yona on the side, I'm half tempted to just start Assassination Classroom and just read ahead too, because I am loving this story. I'm really loving this build-up through the comedy of the series. It just is so good. And also, all these different reveals in this. Like, you know, these people, this dude covered in a robe, he knew all these weak points about Koro-sensei, and it's just so shady. It's so shady seeing how this dude knows all the weak points to Koro-sensei. He's like, oh, if we use this light, it'll make it to where your cells start acting up and you can't react and it just causes you to freeze. And then you had all this different armor, like this armor was made out of like anti-Koro-sensei, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know, just overall, that is crazy to see something like that. It really is. And it's clear something else is going on here, because they know way too much about Koro-sensei. They know way too much. I'm assuming Koro-sensei broke out of, like, some form of facility. He was getting experimented on, since he says he's an artificial life form. I'm guessing he was experimented on, he broke out, and that's why he's like he is, and that's probably why they know so much information about Koro-sensei, is because they were trying to make a human weapon. Because let's look at this, okay? Out of all these transfer students that have came into the series, Ritsu and then this new kid in this episode, they're kind of walking weapons. They are really just walking fucking weapons. That's what they are. And Koro-sensei could be considered a weapon too, a mass destruction. And so let's think about this. Why? Why would the government have this, unless they were wanting to make some form of weapon against other countries? Control war, control the earth, and stuff like that. So I'm assuming Ritsu, a new kid, and then Koro-sensei was made to be engineered as biological weapons. That's what I think is going on here, because Koro-sensei definitely is geared towards a weapon, and so is this kid, and then, you know, Ritsu. They're geared towards weapons of mass destruction. So, yeah. This just... I love Assassination Classroom. Good series. I can't believe I doubted this series before I ever started. Like, I thought, before I started Assassination Classroom, I heard things about it off and on. I heard people say that Assassination Classroom is boring. I've heard some say it gets very repetitive or just gets kind of stale. I've heard mixed things. I've heard those comments. And now that I think about that, now that I think about that viewpoint of some of the people that told me in the past before I started Assassination Classroom, it's the exact same thing I hear about Gintama. It's the exact same fucking thing. I hear people all the time saying, like, Gintama's kind of boring and stuff because it's so slow, or it's just comedy and there's, like, barely any serious story, when there is a story building up, and that's exactly what's going on in Assassination Classroom. So, yeah, like, I'm so glad I started the series. I really am. So, yeah. Thank you for the Chibi that recommended this. If you didn't recommend this, I might have passed over it, and I would have missed the greatness that is Ass Class. So tell me your thoughts. You all have a wonderful day or not, wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.